I have wasted 1.2 million watch minutes of the world's time making this content in the last year. That boggles the mind. If I've stolen a part of your life, I am sorry. Hi everybody, welcome to GearGasms. I'm your host, Alan Barnes. There's a saying that laughter is the best medicine. Well, if that's true, break out the Narcan, because we're going to do a deep dive in nothing but the funniest of the funny from this past year of episodes or so. But without delaying another second, let's jump right into the jokes. Number 2. I don't know why I like to do that. It's just a thing I do. I don't do it every time I say the number 2, especially if I'm telling somebody that I need to go number 2. I don't say, hey everybody, I've got to go number 2. GearGasms number of the week, 35. 35. That is the rumored amount in pounds of impacted feces that was in Elvis's. GearGasms number of the week is 35. 35 what? 35 lbs. That is what is rumored. GearGasms number of the week is 35. 35 what? 35 lbs. That is the amount in pounds of feces that was rumored to be in Elvis's colon. Let me get a straight face. GearGasms number of the week, 35. 35 what? 35 lbs. Supposedly, allegedly, there's a rumor that there were 35 pounds of impacted feces in Elvis's enlarged and distended colon at the time of his death. Let that sink in for a minute. 35 pounds. Forget the drugs. That would have killed any man. The lesson we can learn from that, kids, is if you're going to do opiates, stir them in with some Metamucil. Guitar players often give their guitars female names. I'm not sure where that gets started. That's something I've never done. I don't name them either way, but if I owned this guitar and I had to give it a name, I would dub the Face Down Ass Up. Now I know what you're thinking. Christmas songs are tough to play. They're hard to play for guitar players, and the reason is they were written on keyboards primarily. There's all these things in A flat and E flat, and they use 7 notes in their scales. There's no pentatonics. They throw flats and sharps in there. They boggle your mind. The chords are like twisty, handy kind of things. That's because keyboard players have 10 fingers and they're showing off. And that's why we beat the crap out of them in middle school. Now the other Bobby Brown, I know what you're saying. He's not a rock wife. Yeah, he kind of was. Sure, he had his own career. We loved him in New Edition. We loved his solo career. I made this money you didn't, right, Ted? We're out of here is maybe one of the greatest rock lyrics of the decade. I call that pick scrape seizure. Cocaine? Doesn't that song make you want to do heroin when you hear it? Anything that'll make the sound stop and the lights go out. And because zero heavy metal guitar players used these back in the hairband era, there's a 0% chance that you ever saw somebody in a Whitesnake video do this. I'm looking at you, Rudy Sarzo. Get some of that up in your orbs there, kids. Is that not an ugly beast? It looks like the kind of topiary pubic hair shaving that gained popularity somewhere in the 80s for just a brief moment, but it looks like the world's ugliest vag. Now, I deliberately screwed that up. That way Rob Halford and the guys from Judas Priest can't come my revenue in this video. Maybe I should beep the word rape. Probably not allowed to say that on YouTube. But that's what it is. It's a rape. One thing I learned the hard way is Apparently it's a thing now with men. Maybe it's a millennial thing, I don't know. But men apparently think it's okay to insult another man by calling him fat. You don't call another man fat. You make fun of the size of his junk. You make fun of his mom. You say his sister's a hoe, whatever. A man doesn't call another man fat. That's a total bitch move. The next person that calls me fat in a comment on my YouTube page, I'm going to grab your hand and I'm going to slap your face with your own limp wrist. The Mod Squad was on TV. People were sporting great big gnarly freedom-loving afros. The hippies had run amok. Nobody knew what a bar of soap was. Nobody knew what a pair of scissors was. They just let everything hang out. They let things get gnarly, funky, musty, stinky. Apparently I make this face when I play. I'm kind of like do something like I'm chewing something in my mouth that's not there. Kind of like a prospector in an Old West movie who's watching two people get it on in the back room of a saloon. Just sort of mushing and making these weird, creepy faces. It's no bueno. My daddy married his cousin, but it didn't affect me none. You're supposed to look angry when you play music like that. I try to go for a face that's part anger, part I'm right in the middle of a difficult shit. Now, ordinarily, I would never make a joke about someone with a disability, but as soon as the news broke of the split and that she was trying to steal his fortune, the first twisted joke that came to my mind is she thinks she's going to get Sir Paul's fortune, but his lawyer says she doesn't have a leg to stand on. Now that's a mean joke. It's beneath me. But she's a bitch. She deserves it. We're going to do some pseudo Eddie riffs. I'm going to do some wheedly tapping that's going to blow your mind at just how average it is. But before I forget, t-shirt shout out time. I'm wearing my Keith Richards is my spirit animal t-shirt. And why wouldn't Keith be my spirit animal? He drank gallons of booze. He did tons of drugs. He banged all kinds of dirty leftovers from Mick Jagger, and he's still alive at 94 years old. Who wouldn't want to be Keith Richards? Ike Turner. What's love got to do with it? Apparently not a whole lot. When you've got your ringed finger smacking Tina Turner around. We all saw the movie. We believe every frame of it. Ike Turner, you're a bad, bad man. And again, is he a wife? Kinda, sorta. This makes a great all-in-one tool for the gigging musician. You put it in your bag, you leave it alone. I think you could probably even clip your toenails with this, but it's not going to be a nice straight edge. It's going to be kind of jagged. It's going to look like you chewed them. I ain't even going to lie to you, but you can get it done. We also learned that girly men in hair metal bands in the 80s often tried to fillet the neck of their guitar. Not really sure how that became a cool thing, but I'm not judging. $300, that's not a whole lot of money. What's that? Mow 5 lawns, you're in. 10, 11 tugs. I don't know what the going rate is. One rock star would pull a lesson from another rock star. Maybe they'd sort of back channel each other and say, hey bro, I'm thinking about taking Heather out. What are your thoughts? Now you got to move your arms around a lot when you play. That's a pro tip from me to you kids. Be really flouncy with it. Is that a word? Swan-like. Do swans have arms? Sadly, he had a heart attack and fell down the steps, which is really not a very rock and roll way to die. It's kind of it's like a bad Life Alert commercial. You don't want to be that guy. How many pubic hair jokes am I going to make in one episode of GearGasms? It's up to you to count them. They're like Easter eggs. Turn it into a drinking game. Leave them in the comments, just how many disgusting references to hirsute, men and women. Hirsute. There's a word you don't hear every day. Could that be the correct word to describe the big muff? Well, if you made it this far, you must have found at least a couple of things in there that were funny enough to keep you watching. And I hope to continue to do that kind of thing for you. If you like guitars and guitar gear and demos and pedals and amps and all that kind of stuff, I really hope you'll subscribe. Whatever you do in the next 7 days, I don't need to know about it, as long as you're going to join me here again next week on GearGasms.